Wow, that was the dopest episode we've got in a while. The dialogue was through the roof. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Circle Club. I'm Tyrone. Today we're talking about predictions for episode 3 of season 4 of Succession. Season 4 episode 2 was called Rehearsal. A lot of beautiful things went down. Let's start out with Logan on the floor. So Logan starts this episode surveying how things are run at ATN. He seems like he wants to sit out. He doesn't really like how things are going. We saw it at the end of episode 1. He's looking at the product like, what is this? I do think that if they do end up selling the company, he may get involved on a day-to-day basis, but as we know, he's getting older, has dementia, some of these things going on. I feel like they're sort of foreshadowing that he's going to get sick, die, fall on the floor, something, because as he's walking around, it almost seems as if he's not conscious, doesn't really know what's going on, like an old person sort of walks around. But in this case, he does know what he's doing, but we've seen in earlier instances in season 3, season 2, where he's just like all over the place. He's not there. He definitely seems like he has more of a clear mental state this season so far, but I know that's going to come back and learn with us. I particularly thought this episode was funny when he's walking around and the guy, he walks around over and over and he sees the guy sent one email in the time that he's been there. That was pretty funny. Like, imagine you're just sitting there trying to do your daily job and the CEO just like... Next up, Tom and Shiv's divorce. So Tom and Shiv, it feels like they're not really done to me. I don't know. It feels like Shiv's just still sort of pissed off about what went down. As I mentioned in my last review, you can go check that out. It feels as if Shiv has just gotten a taste of her own medicine for the first time. And as you even watch Shiv, just how she talks to the brothers, her father, she just is a very irritated, and it makes sense, you know, she's reached her boiling point, she's had enough, but it feels like a lot of her decision making has been a lot more emotionally charged than some of the previous seasons where she's tried to be a bit more tactical about things. And I think she's trying to be tactical about this divorce, but it may not be over. I don't know. Maybe it's just wishful thinking. I don't really have a strong explanation, I suppose, for my prediction here, but I think that they may end up sleeping together, having one night stand, or because again, if you're acting on emotions and you're letting that sort of take over your judgment, that may happen. I could see Shiv getting pregnant, may have a kid. Remember that was a whole thing in the earlier seasons, didn't want to have a kid. They were going back and forth about that. That might be what a way to end the show, where you're just like, damn, like, you know, or she loses out on the company. Logan doesn't pick her as his successor because she ends up being emotional and getting pregnant. Another pivotal moment throughout this episode is Kerry's audition tape, which is terrible. By the way, actress did phenomenal there. Like, she played someone who is a bad actor very well. It's always weird when you're asked as an actor to play a bad actor. But I think that whole scene and all of that drama has more to do with the fact that no one can stand up to Logan, no one can really challenge him, and it felt like, unlike previous seasons, it felt like Logan was actually interested in hearing what people have to say, and it's almost like he wanted Tom or someone to, you know, have some courage or guts to be like, this is not the right move, but no one would do it. No one would speak up and say. And I think it's going to come to some point, and I don't know if it's going to be Greg being that young, daring fool, or if it's going to be Tom, but someone at some point is going to stand up to Logan, and he's going to actually listen to them and respect them. I think we're going to get a heavy moment. It's going to be from someone that's just unexpected, like Tom. Another major thing talked about was the AT&T deal being up in the air. It seems like Madsen really doesn't want to be tested. He's getting a little pissed that people are trying to push for more money. I can't tell. Comment down below what you guys think. Do you think that Madsen is actually seriously going to walk from this deal, or do you think that he's just sort of peacocking a little bit here? He sort of seems like one of those people, like an Elon Musk type, who's just, everything's just snap decision. He looks like he does a bit of drugs, so he may be very serious that he would walk away from this thing, which would be nuts. I think Logan realizes that, which is why he says that incredible line. He goes, "I love you, but you are not serious people." And I think what he truly means by that, I think he genuinely does love his children, but he just knows that they were raised privileged, and it makes them sort of weak in his estimation in their analysis of things. And I think they all sort of look at Connor like, oh, you know, Connor is this sad, hopeless puppy. In reality, they all sort of are in the same litter, right? They all sort of grew up in that same environment, except Connor is a little bit more self-aware of that, while the others, they think that they've sort of beaten the odds and that they've gotten there on their merit. And I think that's why there's this similarity between Roman and Logan, is because Roman is able to really look at the group or call out their BS and see things for what they are. And sometimes he's a bit cutthroat of the way he approaches things, similar to Logan. Like when Kendall's just going off about Buddhism or some of these other things, he's like, oh yeah, really? And your Gucci flip-flops? And I think that's sort of the energy that Logan has, which is why in the end of this episode, we see him call Roman to join his fleet. Now, maybe I'm being naive, but I do genuinely think that Logan thinks that Roman could be a option, because I think he sees a little bit of a similarity between Madsen and Roman, that they are young, they're a bit out there, crazy, wild, and I think that he sees that they can maybe connect on a natural human level. And I think he wishes that his kids were smart about this deal. I think he realizes that they're sort of they're flexing their muscles a little too heavy in this situation, when he realizes, like, look, there are definitely moments where you want to flex your muscles. This ain't one of them. This guy is serious. This guy is a jerk off. He does not care about the repercussions of this deal. He will walk. And I think they, at the end, they sort of, I think Kendall definitely knows, like, he had that call. Kendall sort of has this, Kendall is letting his hate for his father overcome his judgment. And that's what I'm saying with Kendall and Shiv. They're in such an emotional state right now that they aren't even really thinking properly, where time and time again you see Roman saying, like, guys, I want to have something for us, guys, let's reel this back in, guys, this is supposed to be about us. They keep saying that over and over and over, and yet it's Roman in the end who ends up getting the call from Logan, because I think Logan may realize that Roman, even though he's sort of seen as the court jester, actually have some value to bring to the table. And honestly, Roman fundamentally has the same sort of beliefs that Logan has, that it's about family and creating something together, while the other two, they have their ulterior motives, their revenge, money, where he's more about let's create something together. And then obviously, as I've mentioned over and over, Roman isn't perfect himself, but like, I think ultimately he does want to feel a unity amongst the family. And also, he's the only one really trying to console in Connor. He's like, listen, Connor just may have lost his wife. Like, let's take a moment here to like be with him. And I thought that was a really nice moment too. And he lets his guard down simultaneously as Logan lets his guard down in the karaoke room. And last but not least, Connor. Connor is he's just a sweetheart, isn't he? It's like, you really just want to give him a hug. And like, when he has those moments where he's just sort of like, I know I'm the clown, I know that I'm not serious, you just feel so bad for him, but like, you love the honesty, the depth to that character. I was hoping that the writers would somehow, some way write it so that Connor being just authentic and nice, and also sort of just unaware of his reality, that it would somehow lead him into the presidency or some sort of the race. And I don't know if that's off the table. I want to see how that all plays out. I think he's not gonna get divorced. I think they're gonna get married. It's all gonna work out and be fine. But I would like to see that. That's just my own wishful thinking. There's no basis in it. But is there any sort of thing that you would like to see that you're like, okay, they definitely aren't going to go that route, or it's sort of out there that you would like to see? Comment down below and let me know. But yes, this was the best episode so far. Succession Season 4, Episode 2, Rehearsal. Loved it, loved it, loved it. Make sure you guys subscribe, because I make new content all the time. Check out my other social medias, and I'll see you all next week. And as we always say, just be you. Peace.